Mr. Orozco, and in this presentation is about dimensioning. How do we dimension our sketches? So far we have talked about how to make sketches in isometric and orthographic. Now we're going to learn how to add the dimensions to the orthographic sketches. We do not add these dimensions to isometric sketches. So first of all, why do we dimension? Why is it that we dimension our sketches? Well, because we need engineers, designers, and different people in different aspects of a company to actually communicate. So as we know, engineering and designers, they are the ones who actually come up with the parts, and then they need to pass on their information to the people who are actually going to produce the parts. Uh, what is important about dimensioning, things that we need to know, is that dimensioning gives us the size of our items, the size of our parts, and it also gives us the locations of certain features. So in this example over here, as you can see in blue, we are being given the location of the center of this hole with respect to this edge and this edge over here. Okay, and then this line over here that I'm pointing to is actually giving us the diameter of that hole over there. In order for us to dimension our figures, since this is in orthographic projection, we can only see two dimensions at a time in each one of the projections. So depending on what face you're looking at, for example in this one over here, we can actually see the full width of our shape. We can also see the full height of the shape. That full height is being given here in this right view of this shape, and then we can also see the depth of the shape. So as you can see, you can have a maximum of 2 dimensions per orthographic projection. So this is the front view. I can see the full width. I can see the height. Here I have only one dimension being shown, which is the height of my shape of my part, and in this one I have the depth with a maximum of 2. Okay, so now let's talk about the specifics of each one of the lines that are being used when we create these dimension lines. So dimension lines are these lines over here, and what they're showing us is the full dimension of the specific section of the part that we're talking about. So as you can see over here, we have this part. This is the face of a part. The full width from this end all the way to this other end is 2.5. Remember, we're talking here about we're talking in this class, we always use the imperial system, so I'm going to say that this is 2.5 inches. So we are given this dimension with these lines over here. They look like arrows. Notice that the arrows are pointing away from each other, and they extend all the way onto these lines over here. And the names of these lines are called extension lines. Why are they called extension lines? Well, if you notice this object line, if we actually keep extending that line onto here, it will become an extension line. It is like an extension of the shape itself. Now you do please notice that you have a space in between the object line and your extension line. So be careful when you create these extension lines. Make sure that your extension lines are not connecting to your to the object lines of your sketch. Let me see if I can show you this in a better view. There you go. So now you can see that here the lines are not connecting with our object lines. However, as you can see from here, this line over here, it is actually crossing your object lines. This blue line here at the bottom and this red line here, they are actually crossing your object lines. But this is happening because these lines are actually showing you the center of the circle, and these extension lines are extensions of the center lines. So these center lines are showing me the center of that circle, and then we have the extension line over here along with a dimension line, which is telling us that the center of this circle is actually 0.75 inches from this edge, and it is 0.50 inches from the top edge down. So that's what those lines are showing us. And finally, we have a leader line, which is this one over here. This leader line, what gives us, normally they're showing you the diameter of circles or the radius of arcs. And we're going to see arcs in a moment. But leader lines, they actually touch the object line. They also look like like an arrow, and we use the symbol to tell you that this is a diameter. So this is the diameter of a circle. So in this case, this hole that the shape is supposed to have here, it is 0.50 inches in diameter. All right. What I want you to do now is I want you to pause the video, and you're going to recreate this shape in your notebook. Just do the orthographic projections, the front, the top, and the right. You're going to recreate it in your notebook, and then what I want you to do now is that I want you to put your dimension lines. The only thing that I'm going to tell you, just follow this over here. Every quarter, every 4 squares, okay, I'm sorry, every square is equivalent to a quarter of an inch. So if you have 4 squares, that will be 1 inch. So that scale is being given here. So just follow the same guidelines. And what you're going to do is you're going to copy this orthographic projection in your notebook, and you're going to add this dimension lines, just like they look over here. So you're going to be adding extension lines along with dimension lines, and the dimension of each one of the sections for this shape over here. Make sure that you use a ruler, and now pause the video, and once you're done creating your lines, we're going to continue with it. You can hit play again, and you can continue with the video. Alright, so now I hope that by now you are done creating your sketch and adding your dimension lines. I know that I'm going to give you some dimension lines. I know that you may have placed your dimension lines at different places, but as long as you have here, as long as you're showing the height of this section over here, you're showing the width of this section over here, you're showing the distance for this section in the center, okay? And then you have the full width, the full depth, and the full height. You should be good. So this is the actual proper way that you should actually create your dimension lines for this drawing. So please check your work. Once again, this is the first time they're creating dimension lines for this part, so it's okay if they're not exactly the same, but at least you're getting a feeling on how to put these projection lines. Alright? Sorry about that. So once again, if you want to check and pause the video, and just hit play when after you check your answers. Alright, so by now you have created your dimension lines, you have checked your work from this previous slide. Now we have another new slide. Once again, you are to copy this orthographic projection. So I have the front of this shape over here, I have the top view of the shape, and I have the right view of this same shape over here. We're going to keep the scale as being the same. Every quarter inch is supposed to be a little square. So if you have a total of 4 squares, you're going to have 1 inch. You are going to copy once again this shape into your notebook. However, some of the dimensions are being given to you. Your task is to actually complete the missing dimensions. Okay, I will tell you right now there are 3 that are missing. So find those 3, and I'll give you a few minutes. Well, actually, just hit pause, and we'll come back and see the answer. Alright, so I hope that you completed your drawing. So let me show you what dimensions we were missing. So here, all of the dimensions that are in red were the ones that were missing. We were missing the length, this length over here from this edge to this edge. So that one is here, is supposed to be 2 inches. We were also missing the width from this point to this point, so it's right here being shown, it's 2 inches. And then finally we were missing the full height of our shape, which is also 2 inches. So check your work, pause the video and check your work. Alright, so I hope that you check your work and everything is okay now. Now we're going to talk about some guidelines. So you just tried applying dimensions, dimension lines to a couple of sketches. Now this time we're going to cover actual rules on how to place our dimension lines. And what I want you to do is, after checking this, we're going to go back to these previous sketches that you guys just did, and you're going to place your dimensions the right way. Okay, so let's see. Rule number 1. Your dimensions should not be duplicated, nor should the same information be given in 2 different ways. Why? Because we don't want to over-dimension our sketches. As you can see right now, this sketch has way too many lines. We have the full width of the shape being given in the front view, and then you have the full width again being given in the top view. The same with this section over here. As you can see, this is the size of this from the edge all the way to this section is also being given here. Then once again, this measurement, this dimension from here is also being repeated. So make sure that you don't repeat. Okay, the height of the shape, it's over here. The height is the height is actually over here to the right. Okay, and this section over here, this little step is half an inch. That one is also being given here. So all of these lines that are, all these dimension lines that are being given in red, they are incorrect. Why? Because they have been duplicated. So this is the right way to do it. As you can see, we got rid of all of those duplicated sections. Okay, as you can see, it looks more clean and it makes things easier to read. Rule number 2. Dimensions should be attached to the view that best shows the contour of the feature to be dimensioned. So what we mean about the contour, if you look at the front view of this shape, you can actually see the steps. You can see that this step is at this elevation, then it gets higher, and then all of a sudden goes down, it gets lower. So that will be what we mean the contour. If you notice here, we are being given the dimensions of this step, then the dimension of this other step, and the dimension of the final step. Those dimensions were placed in the top view where we cannot really see that contour. So that is incorrect. Same thing for the height of this step right over here is being given in this section, and that is incorrect because it should be over here, just like it shows here. So notice that now we move all of those red lines that were up here, we move them to the view that is giving you this contour. The same here to the right, you had a little dimension line showing you the height of this section. It went to the left, showing you the correct placement of all of this, of all of the dimension lines. So far, rule number 1: make sure that you don't repeat dimension lines. Rule number 2: make sure that you place those dimension lines in the view that gives you the contour of the shape. Number 3: whenever possible, avoid dimensioning to hidden lines. Try not to dimension to hidden lines. So in this view, we have this hidden line, right? This hidden line is actually showing you this little step over here, this section of the step over here. Right here, it's giving you this height, okay? So that's what this hidden line is showing you. It is better to actually place this dimension line right next to it instead of dimensioning the hidden line. So try to avoid, if by the end there is the only way that you can add your dimension is to a hidden line, then just do so. But make sure that if you have a better view where you can actually give the dimension to a not hidden line, which means an object line, then please do so. So you're gonna see that as I click next, you're going to see this right here being moved to the left. There it is. Okay, so this is the correct way to do it. Okay, so please avoid dimensioning hidden lines. Number 4, avoid dimensioning over through the object. So notice over here how you're being given the full depth of your part, but then this dimension was put inside the shape. Okay, please don't do that. Try to avoid doing this. So this should be to the right. Same over here, you're being given the full width of our shape, which says that it's 2 inches. Please do not do that. Please try to extend it out. So I will use this same extension line and I will actually put it out here. Okay. So as you can see, when I hit next, all of these dimensions are sent outwards. So make sure that all of your dimensions are outside, not through the object. The only exception is in circles, but we'll see that in a moment. Okay. Number 5, whenever possible, locate dimensions between adjacent views. So what that means is, as you can see on this view over here, all of my dimension lines are kind of like on the outside of my orthographic sketch. What we mean is that these dimensions, instead of being on this side, you need to move in between adjacent views. So this view and this view are both adjacent views. So make sure that you move your dimension lines in between. The same with these dimensions here at the bottom. Make sure that these dimensions are towards the inside, in between those adjacent views. The same with this dimension here on the top that is giving you the full depth of our part. If you move it to the other side, it will be between the isometric view and the top orthographic projection. So this is the way that it should look. Now, sometimes at this point, if you notice, there is a little exception here. If we place this dimension here on the other side, my extension line, remember, extension line cannot be extended through the shape. So this extension line, if I put this dimension here to the right, this extension line will have to stop right here where I have my cursor. And by doing this, we actually, sorry about that. Let me just zoom it in better. So if I actually move this on this side, this extension line, this line right here, is going to come all the way to here and stop here. And it will be difficult to actually see that this dimension line refers to this step over here. So when you have cases like this, when you have a feature that is on the opposite side, then it is okay for you to place that dimension line. Otherwise, please make sure that you try to put your dimension line on the right place. Next, in general, a circle is dimensioned by its diameter and an arc by its radius. So remember that I spoke before about arcs. So here we can see the dimension, the circle, which this circle in the front view represents this hole for this part. And we have our leader line that is showing us that this is the diameter of the circle. So right here, you see that symbol? That symbol is used for diameter. So this is telling us that the diameter of this hole is 0.5 inches, and this that it says through, it means that the hole is going all the way through the part. Then if you notice here at the bottom of this shape, we have a little arc, right? Because it is a rounded corner. That creates an arc, and then here, where instead of being given the diameter, you are being given the radius. Why? Because arcs don't really have diameter, they have radius. So it's telling you that the radius of this little arc right here is 0.25 inches. And this is the only line that is actually going through the shape. Next one, holes are located by their center lines, which may be extended and used as extension lines. So as I said before, extension lines for the width, for the height, and for the depth. These extension lines cannot go through your shape. So as you notice right here, you have the full width, right? These extension lines cannot go through the shape unless your extension line is showing you the center of a circle. So right now we're being told right here that the center of this circle is 1 inch from this edge to here and half an inch from the top edge down. Okay, so that is showing us the center of the circle. And remember, every single time that we place a that we place a circle, we need to include these center lines. And at this point, the center lines, they kind of become the extension line themselves. So make sure that you don't put dimension lines through your shapes unless they are showing you the center of a hole or they are the leader line themselves. And finally, holes should be located and sized in the view that shows the feature as a circle. So we have our circle here. In this example, they're showing us that the center of the circle has been placed in it's 1 inch from the edge to the center, but we can actually see the full feature of that circle in this view, right? So instead of placing that dimension on this top view, it should be here in the front view. The same here, they're showing us that the center of the circle is from the top down 1/2 inch. So instead of showing that, I should be showing this on this view, this front view, the same with the full diameter of my circle. So the correct way to do it is this. So show it in the view that shows you the circle, not in the view that is showing you hidden lines. And that's pretty much it. I hope that this video has helped you answer a few questions about how to add our dimension lines, and we'll talk about your next task in class.